Hello and welcome to another episode of The Funny Kind with your host, Erica Gumieny. Get ready for some laughs and inspiration as Erica takes us on a journey to find the kindness and light in everyday places. And now, without further ado, here's your host, Erica Gumieny.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to this episode of The Funny Kind, where I have with me my soul sister friend, Megan Malik. We have been friends for 5 months and almost 3 days, or it'll be 5 months and 3 days. Love it. And I feel like I've known her my whole life. And we are going to have a wonderful conversation today. But before we jump into this deep talk, allow me to say a little bit about my friend Megan. She is a grief guide, a mentor, an author of a book called A New Path, a practical workbook and planner for the first year of grief and setting your person's affairs, which is a book that is much needed for those of us who have gone through that journey. Megan's work creates soulful spaces for transformation, which is so true. And Megan has a background as a licensed marriage and family therapist and a certified brain spotting practitioner. And in her work, she blends education, ministry, and psychotherapy, making her presence and her words both poetic and practical. And I had to read it because that is such a beautiful bio.
Oh, well,
really
thank you.
So,
thank you.
Hello, welcome.
Thank you for hello. Oh, Erica, it's just so good to see you.
I know. So I want to just tell a little bit about how we met. 5 months ago, and it'll almost 5 months ago. And Megan and I both did a TED Talk type presentation called When Stories. And we met that day, and our souls knew each other already, but our faces met for the first time. And it was a wonderful opportunity to hear what you had to say that day and sharing your journey and your story. And I'll share that in the information on this podcast. But I want to, and I've said this to you a lot, but I just want to, in front of the world, say thank you, because you sat in the front row while I poured out my soul in a really vulnerable way that day. And you were like so loving and such a vessel of support and kindness and encouragement that you helped me get through. And I'm just so blessed by you and your husband too, who was looking at me with the same energy. And you two are just the cutest. I can't even.
Oh.
So, hi.
Hi, I'm speechless now and I'm blushing. If we were on camera, I'd be red. So, and thank you. Thank you. I'm glad.
Yeah. So you have such an interesting and deep line of work that blends your life's experiences with your mind's gifts and your soul's purpose. Can you tell us a little bit more about kind of your journey and what brought you to the work that you're doing?
Sure. I mean, and certainly people can check out the When story. That gives a really good insight into it. But long story, a little shorter, I guess.
Yeah.
I've been was in ministry and then psychotherapy for a long time, 25 years or whatever. And I've worked in and with grief my whole adult life, and I've had other losses. And in the winter of 2022, I lost both my mom and then my dad in very, very close succession. And that was, as for many people would be like an unexpected deaths really shake us, grief activating. But it was really becoming the administrator for their estates that I think was going to send me over the edge.
Yeah.
Because I was like, what is all this language that I don't understand? And
yeah.
Oh,
Right. They make it complicated, so you have to hire lawyers, I swear.
Yeah. And I realized I didn't understand what even the lawyer was.
Yeah, right. Can I get a look? Can
Uh,
I get an interpreter for the
I
lawyer?
really often felt like I was like this like elementary kid, and they're like, "Where's your dissertation?" And I'm like,
What's a dissertation?
"I have my lunchbox, my peanut butter and jelly,
Yeah. Can we use a felt board to understand?
I would say crayons." Um,
Yeah.
so there was all of that. And then, the other piece, I realized, people know I wrote the book I wish I would have had, but they don't know the birthing story of the
Mhm.
book. So I had all this stuff going on. I'm a woman with ADHD. I'm late diagnosed ADHD. So I actually hadn't yet been diagnosed or treated for it. So
Mm.
my brain was am I allowed to cuss on
Of
this?
course you can.
My brain
God
was a
loves you.
shit show.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't keep anything. Like, I mean, the grief did the things and the perimenopause did the things and the ADHD. And so I went to Staples and I got like one of those old school big calendar things that was a binder, and I like started to repurpose it for myself. And then our closest couple friends here, her parents started to be on the journey like my parents.
Mm.
Mm. And my husband's best friend, his father died, and my best friend from childhood, her dad died, all in like less than a year of my losses. I couldn't help. I'm a helper, but I had no capacity. But people were also coming to me because they were like, well, what about with all the practical things? And so I started to send them things that like from my planner, and my book was started to be created because I realized I had this really weird skill set now of like, I get your brain's not able to organize the things. It's normal because you're grieving. I know about this because of my professional background, but here's the shit you have to do that I now know about because I had to do it.
Oh, that's so cool. It's not cool. You know what I mean? Like it's like I was gonna say, oh, I love your book. I love, but it's a
Yeah.
weird verb to use because it's like but isn't it great how God took all of these things and brought them together to be of service to the world?
Oh my gosh, Erica, okay, well, first of all, this is gonna make me teary. I start the book with, hello, fellow griever, like basically welcome. And I'd like to say, I'm glad you're here. And I want to acknowledge you're not, basically.
Yeah.
Right. And I have written my whole life for myself with myself. I mean,
Mhm.
it has been a thread that has been a constant that I've come back to, that God has helped me. So to be able to take something of mine and create something that is actually going to resource people and help them. I realized doing the When story, I realized like, yes, it's great. It honors my parents' legacy. Yes, it's great. It's going to help people. But do you know, writing that book saved me.
Yeah. I'm so proud of you.
Oh,
I really am. I'm so proud of you that you didn't allow, and I don't mean to say this in a judgmental way because it's okay when your grief pulls you down into the darkness. You have to you just have to get through those moments, and that you were able to feel all of that and find purpose in it to make good of it.
oh, thank you.
And it's such a blessing for other people to know, there's just something that says, I don't want to fix you. I don't want to tell you what to do. I just want to sit with you. I understand. And I may not understand exactly, but I'm here.
Yeah, that well, and
There's
that's
just
just it.
something.
That's good grief care. And
Yeah.
I mean, there were there were hard moments, hard days, hard everything.
Yeah.
And it's funny. Like I talk with people sometimes about their grief timeline or their grief resume. And I've talked about this with people before in my career. Like for example, over COVID, so many people had so many losses, Erica. And I
Hmm.
mean, some of them were the biggies, the deaths. But there were also all these like little losses that people were having. Like they didn't get to graduate from college in the normal way
Yeah.
and go look for their job, and they were back living in their parents' house in their like high school bedroom.
Hmm.
And were scared about like bringing something to their family. So they weren't seeing like, this is
Mm-hmm.
all grief.
Yeah.
This is all grief and loss. And so over the summer of 2020, I was having so many people do these timelines for like, look at all, I want you to count up all the little losses. And I don't even want to call them little, but like the things that we pass over,
Yeah.
the things that we say, oh, that's nothing.
It could be
But
worse.
but it ends up being death by 1,000 cuts.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
And you don't realize that you're bleeding out
you don't. And
because it's
so
not a
all
wound that is a death or a wound that is a diagnosis or something like that. It's these little things that add up. You're so right.
it
And the next thing
is.
you know, you're like, what is all this blood?
It's so true. And
I don't
so
even know
having
where it's
had
starting from.
that and my whole life, I was like, okay, I just gotta one, be where you are, and it's okay to have a down day, have a 2 down days. And I remember literally telling my husband, I was like, if I don't get out of bed by day 3, kick me. Like,
Mhm.
not kick, but like I need help in a like
Yeah.
big help.
Yeah. So you wrote from a place of compassion and understanding of the not just these are the stages of grief. Do this, do this. It was really a compassionate understanding along with practical tools of how to move forward, move through, and manage some real legitimate issues that happen in the state that unfortunately we don't know about until we go through it. So you're trying to get ahead of it for people. You know,
Yeah.
I remember when I was early in my business career and I used to go to this business networking group and you'd have to do this little intro of yourself in front of everybody. You have to stand up and have a little intro elevator speech.
Yes. Oh, yes, yes, yes.
And there was a guy from a funeral home and he would say he was selling pre-planning services and he would stand up and say one thing, shop before you drop. I just I couldn't tell you where he worked, but I thought it was so great because it was so true. You know, those of us who have gone through things, it's like, I really wish we would have had this all figured out because I have to pause my grieving to go to the funeral home, figure out what kind of stuff we're getting, figure out are we do cremating? Are we doing this? Are we doing that? Are we having a service? How much is it? What? Maybe not. Maybe wait, what do they have to say on the account? What should it have been? Now we have to go to probate. What's probate? You can't even grieve.
You 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 can't. And I guess that was my turning moment, and you have to boundary it, but was also giving myself permission when I was by myself with myself doing some of the practical things to like allow it to come out while I was doing it, to be
Yeah.
like, oh, wait a second, like what if I was to let myself cry while I was doing this?
Yeah.
And I'm a soul spirit oriented person. And so also I started to do things like light a candle and ask God for help
Mm-hmm.
when I was doing what I was doing. And at the end, asking, like, can I leave this here? Because I was finding even when I was not doing it, I was doing it in my head,
Yeah.
like the ruminating.
Oh, I don't know what you're talking about.
I do that on a
I
like
should
that.
have a t-shirt that says, don't talk to me. I'm currently overthinking and ruminating.
Oh my gosh, I need the same t-shirt.
Because it's like
I didn't
ruminating is worse than overthinking for sure.
It is, it's like you just get in this space of like, I'm gonna chew on this like a cow chews some cud.
Yeah. And it's
And
bad cut. It's
it's
old.
so bad, it
It's
doesn't taste good
funky.
at all, and
Uh-uh.
it's
It's
so
sticking in your
easy.
teeth. It's nasty. My friend used to call it awfulizing.
Yeah, that's a
And
good.
yeah, and you just get hooked into it and you don't realize you're doing it. And it's like a reeling inside your head. It's awful. So
It's so awful.
mhm,
So to ask for help getting out of that. Now, did it always work? No. And it gave me at least a thing,
right.
if that makes any
Yeah.
sense.
So let me put a semicolon on this part of our conversation
Please
because we
do.
could talk about this for so long of the work that God has weaved within you through your experiences and your education that have brought you to this point, and how it all has intersected in this beautiful way. And I just want to honor again the work that you've done to get where you are, and being willing to dig in and do this deep work. Thank you. Thank you. Anybody that reads this book, well, thank you for having it. I think it should be available to anybody in a hospice situation, or anybody dealing with elder care, as a tool to help you prepare. So anybody going through that, please buy this book. It is a gift. So that being said, you go through this work, you do all of this, and you arrive to this point now that you are CEO of your organization, your company, your soul's work, called A New Path.
Yes.
And you are faced with your ability to create multiple things and do lots of things.
Yes.
And the title, so you and I talked on the phone for quite a while, talking about what we could talk about today.
Yes.
And we were, if I can summarize it, basically, it was, what the heck are we doing? Like, what are we supposed to be doing? Like, I should do this. I should be doing that. I should be doing this. I should do more posts. I should do this. I should do that. Look at her. Look at them. Why aren't I doing this? Why aren't I doing that? Blah, 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 blah.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. And I just I resonate with it so deeply, Eric. I'm like, it's like looking at myself.
Yeah.
Myself.
Yeah. So, and then you realize that what that is a hamster wheel.
Yep.
You're not really doing
that
anything.
ruminating again.
Yeah. Yeah. The what if ruminating, or maybe, or should I, or all of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then step 2 is looking outside of yourself.
I mean, for me, and one of the things that I think we were talking about is, okay, what are the things I'm supposed to be doing for this? Okay, I'm told to do X, Y, and Z. So I'm trying to do all of them, and I'm losing myself, which is my best asset.
Like step 1 is the ruminating and the thinking and the overstimulated to-do lists that I literally have a to-do list on my computer here, or my computer here, on this legal pad here, in this journal there. Then step 2 is looking outside of ourselves for validation, for example, for comparison, for enlightenment, for inspiration.
All of the
because it's like, okay, look, they always say, look to the person doing what you want to do, see how they're doing it. That makes good sense. Or before step 2 is check in. How did you know when you were doing the right next thing? Does that make sense?
It does make sense. I think for me personally, a couple of ways. I feel it in my body. Even if I'm nervous, even if I'm scared, I've started to realize it's a different feeling physically than when I'm doing it and it's scared, but it's push. For me, it feels more grounded and rooted and more flow and less push and frenetic. And like when I'm in that frenetic space, that's like, Megan, step away from the computer. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. You're not going to solve this today.
Don't collect $200. Don't pay $200.
Yeah. For the next.
How many things have I bought and signed up for in the frenetic freak out?
Yeah, because yep.
I should sign up for this program. I should sign up for this. I should sign up for this. I should buy this. I should do this program. I should buy this. Every time I'm in that freak out, fearful freneticness, no good decision comes from there.
I guess that's the other thing that I'm starting to really appreciate, not just about the grief journey. And I would have thought, many people when they go through grief, you would never choose it.
Yeah.
Right. Whatever the thing is, of course you want your whatever it was. And very many times people come through and say, and this has made me a more compassionate person. It's made me a more loving person. I see the world differently. I'm blah, 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 blah. But it's also true, I think, for my business journey. And like, oh, wait a second. There's also value in being off the path, which maybe was never off the path. Because if I actually believe that God is God, God's not ever gone.
I'm not off his path ever.
I'm
Yeah.
not off the path. Well, God's voice is a lot quieter than social media's.
Mm-hmm.
In Christian circles, they call God's voice the still small voice.
Mm-hmm.
Social media is not still or small.
Right.
And sometimes what I hear God saying is like, you've got to be kidding me. That you want me to do less? You want me to unplug? You you want me to market less? How is this ever going to work?
How can we differentiate between noise and the knowing of God?
So to tap into my multi-alphabet soup background,
Yeah.
you know, in seminary, a word we used a lot was discernment.
Mm-hmm.
And of like really allowing yourself to sit with something and listen into it because it might take a moment to come to where you are or where
Yeah.
you, and I think that's the closest that I have.
Yeah. And wise old people have always told me to slow down. My grandpa told me that all the time. There was this Pastor Al guy that my friends and I hung out with for a couple of years who was this real neat guy. And he talked a lot about the peace in your soul and the quietness. And just when you're faced with a decision, sit still quietly, feel your stuff. Al, I love you. You're so sweet. I have no idea what you're talking about. Like, I could never get there. Maybe I can't get in touch with that quiet peace, but I for sure know what the frenetic, fearful freak out is. That one I know. And the more I'm zoning into that, the more I know probably not either the right decision or not the right decision right now. Hold on a minute. We talked about the discomfort of the waiting.
Oh, think how it's like when you make, I mean, I can zone in and get a peaceful thing, but that doesn't mean in the next 5 minutes, I'm still going to be feeling the peace or when
Right.
I'm acting on the peace the next day or the next week or the next month. Like, I am not somebody who's like, I feel like I've made this aligned choice and now I am in Zen.
Never.
I usually actually feel the quaking in my boots when I make the decision, no. But like the next day, I'm like, I just literally made that decision. You've got to be kidding me. Did
Yes.
I say yes to this ride? I'm now on this
I
ride.
know. What if I
And
make a
so,
huge mistake?
yeah. And
Mhm.
that's been disorienting.
The closer you are to awakened alignment, the more that seems to happen in the sense that you're in an unknown, vulnerable space. And that's scary.
It is scary. And so it's like, okay, wait a second. How am I supposed to know which of these fear feelings that's like the same feeling? I'm supposed to differentiate between these
Yeah.
two,
Yeah, go stop and yield. Feel the same sometimes.
don't they?
Like, yeah, this conversation is going from the point of God gives you strengths, skills, and a life full of lessons.
Yes.
And it's your blessing opportunity, your blessed opportunity to find the meaning of all of that and how it all coagulates into this beautiful mess that we're building of our life that can serve others. I think a lot of people come out of grief and suffering feeling so discombobulated from who they thought they were.
Mm-hmm.
We started with our kind of what got us here. We made something of it. We've made our journey from the ashes. We're on our new path. Now, close our conversation with how can we know which step to take? Because it's really just a step.
It is just a step. Sometimes I'm like, but that's not enough.
Yeah.
Just a step? Everybody else is having a $6 million year. And they
Yeah.
did 5 things and they did it right. And also because one of my earlier life lessons, and I don't think that this is a wrong life lesson, what I'm going to say, but just to say, Megan, it's you don't have to push so hard. You don't have to fake it till you make it. Like it's okay when you're in pain to let go.
Mm.
Let God. So I've like that with the resistance of leaning in and stick with it and the grit. And I'm like, which of these am I supposed to do?
Are you supposed to let it go? Are you supposed to give it your all? Are you supposed to have grit? Are you supposed to trust in the flow? Are you supposed to, can we get quiet enough to know what the next right thing is?
I think that's where the trust comes in. I mean, this all sounds like easy to say, simple but not easy. Isn't that the thing? Just a step.
Yeah.
Like back to the like you don't have to do the whole like a step.
Yeah. That feels like a should step or a supposed to step. Pause
Yes.
and get quiet and ask yourself, why am I, because you feel the funkiness, you'll feel the funky fear and the freneticness. And I wonder why, my therapist loves to say, isn't it interesting? Isn't it interesting that I'm feeling this way? I wonder why.
Wonder why. What's going on?
I wonder why. Well, I probably feel like I'm supposed to, as an example, I have friends who have written books or done similar things to me, and they put themselves on social media a ton. And there's a lot of promotion and a lot of activity and a lot of action. God bless them. I do not feel aligned to do that. I don't, I just don't. I feel, I don't want to get so quiet though that nobody knows what I'm doing, and that the miracles that God has done in my life that can help another person, I don't want those to go untold or unheard.
I don't know if this will make any sense to you, but I almost think of it like I invite myself to think of like an infinity loop and like rather than either or, but be like, I'm kind of flowing back and forth between the two. Or I remember when my dad was teaching me how to drive, and like he was one of the things he demonstrated is that like the car actually technically never goes straight. Like it's always semi-adjusting. It's
Yeah.
always semi-adjusting. And which was part of why you turn into it, like the whole, if you hit ice and you're doing the opposite of what you intuitively should do, blah, 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 blah. I wonder, Erica, if part of the being in alignment, awakened alignment, isn't like I'm in awakened alignment and I'm not, but like learning that I'm doing this like
Okay, I know we're not on video, right? It's like you've all held your car. For those of us with the newer cars that have the little buttons that you can press on cruise control that have you stay within the lane. And when you try to grab the wheel and move it, because for some reason my car wants me to move what looks to me as a little bit right of center. And I'm always trying to pull me back to center. And the car's like, no. So I'm kind of fighting with my own technology. And I'll literally think, who made this car? Who made this? This is so dumb. Clearly it's not doing it the way I should be doing it, which is probably how I'm doing this with God. Going, God's going over here. And I'm like, no, 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 go over here, go over here. And he's like, no, dude, I created this. I know better than anybody. Come over here. And so half the time I'm white knuckling because I'm going against the alignment that he gave me. But yeah. I feel like that was your dad giving you that reminder. How sweet of semi-adjusting, right? Is that what you said? Semi-adjusting?
Yeah, this is like semi-adjusting. Like it's not.
Whereas this is just take a step. And if that might not be the right step, make another choice and adjust and go this way. How nice is that? Versus should, supposed to, do it.
It feels very different. Very different. And then also room for like experimentation, room for curiosity.
Mm-hmm. Please don't say play. When people say play, I'm like, listen, this is not play. This is not fun for me. This is really stressful,
Yeah.
In your work that you have done with people through, your therapy, through your ministry, through your grief work, through brain spotting, what would you say if you could share some common gifts that you've been able to give to those clients of coming through those tough times?
Well, first, I just want to affirm for anyone out there listening that there is absolutely no pressure to do anything beyond be you and live your moment wherever you are in your grief journey. Full stop. Everyone experiences, lives with, learns to carry, moves through grief in their own way. And it's as unique as snowflakes. I think some of the most beautiful things that I've witnessed with people is self-compassion.
Yes.
a real,
Don't give me cry.
yeah, like a sense of self-forgiveness and self-compassion.
Mm-hmm.
I've
Yeah.
also had the privilege of seeing people understand maybe their parents differently and better. No pressure to do that. And I've witnessed as people have healed their own hurts and reckoned with how they got to be who they are, where they are, how they are. It doesn't excuse maybe some of the hurts from their parent that their parents handed down to them, but they see their parent differently
Mm-hmm.
because part of the grieving is sometimes grieving the parent that they didn't get that we all wish
Uh-huh.
they had gotten.
Grief is very interesting in those situations.
It is.
Mm,
And I think, when I was chaplaining in the hospital, I had a couple of very profound and extraordinary experiences of getting
like
to
that.
witness how, you know, when death is there, things fall away that aren't meaningful.
Mm-hmm.
And you are left in this very vital, potent moment. And so I got to witness reconciliation
Mm,
and hold space for it
yeah.
several times. I'm not going to share more because I don't want to share stories that aren't mine, but let me just say the power and potency of that, and God actually in those moments, because if you're
Mhm.
chaplaining,
Well, I mean, we could be here for hours for sure,
we
Megan.
could.
I am so grateful to you for spending this time to talk through these deep thoughts of finding our way through this life and through the pain. And thank you for creating this resource for us and to help us along because you are somebody who is such a light of support
Oh, thank you.
and just that I mean you are walking compassion. You just have it. It just comes, it just flows from you. So for all of you listening, I will share all of the goodies that Megan has in the world. Please support her, buy her book, share her book, and give them to people who need them. That's all I want, is for as many people to know that God loves them, to get that message out, because it changed everything for me. And I know it's changed everything for you in so many ways in your life, and that you have chosen service and taking all that you've experienced to help others. And that is a gift and a burden and a complex, everybody's joking right now about women wearing these weighted vests as they walk. That's a big, how do you know you're a suburban mom when you're walking with a weighted vest? There's all these funny songs about it. But you're carrying a weighted vest in the work that you do, that you carry the grief of others along with them, that you feel the feelings of others, and it's such an honor to do so. So thank you.
You are welcome.
All right, until the next episode, thank you so much for being here, and we will see you soon.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of The Funny Kind with your host, Erica Gumieny. Be sure to subscribe now so you don't miss any of the laughs or inspiration. And Erica wants to hear from you. Be sure to reach out if you know of someone Erica should connect with as she continues to take us on a journey to find kindness and light in everyday places.